Good day, everyone. My name is Richard Seafang, and I'm going to be talking about some different organizational controls that companies use to ensure that things run smoothly and there's improvements in areas that need to be, that they track the certain things that they need to get done, and so forth and so on. My objective here, identify the different types of organizational controls, discuss examples of each, explain how each can benefit an organization. Those are the three things that I want to cover here today. So before I get into that, you have two different types of organizations. You have the hierarchical, which is very formal, very structured. Everything has a place and everything. It has to be just so in that organization. Strict chain of command, kind of like what's pictured off to the right, for example. Very strict rules. Everything has to follow a certain standard. Everything has to be accounted for. You will follow the rules, or you're not a good fit for that organization, which can be a challenge. Centralized decision making is one of the big things about it. Nowadays, a lot of companies are moving to the next type of organization we're going to talk about. The author that was removed down there to the right in my references, he referenced they referenced Caterpillar back in the 80s, having their home office in Illinois. And if a sales rep is in Africa, they were trying to make a decision, maybe drop the price a little, do a deal for somebody. They have to contact all the way back to Illinois. And back in the 80s, that was a bit of a challenge. They didn't have smartphones or laptops like we do now. Communication was a little bit more difficult back then. And so Caterpillar started moving towards a more decentralized style, which is where you don't have those rigid chain of command. You don't have those strict ironclad rules. Things are a little bit more fluid. So, kind of like what Daff explained with Campbell's. So, Campbell's were allowing their employees to make changes on their own with approval, of course, but at the boots on the ground level, as I would call it, down where the changes actually affect the employees and how they produce and what they actually do, and so forth and so on. And so what these employees did, they cut holes in the conveyor belts. Not in such a way that it would disrupt production, but in such a way that they could inspect the rollers underneath the conveyors a lot easier, a lot better. And they could clean them a lot better, therefore ensuring the equipment works properly longer. They could do inspections on them easier, which was a big, big thing. The decision making was left to the people that were there rather than way up high, some corporate headquarters a million miles away, where they don't see what's going on every day. They don't experience it the way that the workers actually do. So, getting into the different types of control tools, you have the budgetary controls are some of the very common ones. Everybody's probably experienced them in one way or another. The first one would be your expense budget. So your expense budget is where a company looks at, okay, so we think that we're going to spend this much money in this area this year, this much money in this area this year, or whatever time frame. They plan everything out as far as the expenses. They look at everything and say, hey, we're going to take a look at what we need to spend and make a budget based off of that. We're not going to exceed that. Make sure it fits within how much revenue is being generated for the organization, and so forth and so on. The next, it kind of goes along with that, the revenue budget. That's looking at, okay, we need to make X amount of dollars in this time frame, or we need to sell this many units, or we need to, either way, just produce this much in this time frame. And if they fall a little bit short, they look at, okay, so how can we improve? What went wrong? And if they exceed that, what would very often be viewed as a positive thing, not necessarily, because if a company produces more than there's a demand for, that can become a problem for that company. Because if they have stuff that they can't sell, it's just going to sit there. So you got to find a balance. That's why they shoot for specific targets. The next would be your cash budget. Cash is looking at, okay, we're going to estimate the receipts and expenditures of money on a daily or weekly basis and see we have this much to spend and we need to get by with that. And we need to make sure we have a sufficient amount to make sure that we meet our obligation as an organization so that we get done what needs to get done. Your capital budget looks at, okay, in 6 months, we're going to need to buy a new item, a new piece of equipment, a new printer, whatever the case may be. And so that's a piece of capital. It is a physical thing that the company has that has value. And they look at that and say, okay, we need to update this stuff in order to ensure that our company is going to be able to function the way that it needs to at that given time. So really good thing to look at there. Looks a lot towards efficiency and making sure that everybody has what they need. A lot of companies that use this type of stuff is like Boeing, Shell, United Technologies. They look at that kind of stuff to make sure that they have what's needed to ensure that they continue producing. They produce so much they need to make sure they can keep up with it. The last type of budgeting would be your zero-based budget, which is done in two different ways, either from the top down or bottom up. Your bottom up starts at zero and works its way up. Okay, we need to spend this much in this area, this much in this area, this much in this area, and we can justify those spendings in this way, and that's it. And you allocate each and every single dollar that the company has and make sure that it has a specific purpose and that it goes to that purpose. Same type of thing, except with top down, it works the other way around. Instead of starting at zero, you start at number X, whether it be 5 million, 10 million, whatever the case may be. And you start there and you work your way down to zero, making sure, okay, we need to spend this much money on gas, we need to spend this much money on travel for employees, we need to spend this much money on capital investments, assets, payroll, and so forth and so on, all the way down to zero. Next, which this is becoming increasingly more popular, it has since the 80s, total quality management, or TQM. You have several different types that are actually used here. They all have a specific purpose. And they all work out pretty well when used properly. The first here, what you're going to have would be a quality circle. That's where you're going to have, usually, a smaller group of employees, not a whole ton of them, but a good group of them that meet on a periodic basis, and they sit down and they discuss, okay, what are we doing good? What do we need to improve? Where are we going wrong? And so forth and so on. And they identify all those things and say, okay, time to start improving. So we have this problem. Here's a solution. Or would that work? Okay, maybe. Okay, what about this solution? Oh, yep, that's the one. That'll work. And they continuously improve things, which is a lot of what total quality management is all about. It's a decentralized control philosophy based on improving whatever it is that you need to improve. Benchmarking was started by Xerox back in 1979, and they were hanging kind of tough. They needed to do a lot of improvement, so they started looking at things kind of like a staircase. You start by planning. Okay, so what are our things? What do we need to do? What are our things? Where are we going to identify these? Okay, and then they find them. They actually go out and they find, okay, here's our problems. Then they collect data on whatever those problems are and how they're going to improve on those things. Works out really, really well. Then they have the data. They have the items that need to be improved. They continue on to analyze once they make the changes and everything, and then they can get to improve, and then it brings back and it keeps going. There's always a chance to improve whatever it is that you are doing. Six Sigma is a huge organization. They focus on a 5-step method called a DMAIC. That's define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Pretty self-explanatory. They're defining what exactly is going on, measure what needs to be done and how it needs to happen, analyze all of that, make the improvements, and then control to make sure it sticks. Quality partnering is when you have a specific group of individuals within the organization, typically group by function. It might be marketing people, or it might be finance people, it might be sales, it might be floor managers, whatever the case may be. They get together. Okay, so we need to make improvements in my area. So this is what we're going to do, and this is what we propose, and they improve on things in that way. Puts it very much in the local people's hands as far as the departments. Continuous improvement, very, very basic, very simple. It's looking at things as, hey, here's where I was yesterday. Here's where I want to be tomorrow. This is where I got to get to. This is what I need to do, and so forth and so on. So with all of that in mind, kind of an example of this, Yusuf described an issue which it's unfortunate, but it happens, where prescriptions are filled out incorrectly. Somebody gets the wrong medications or the wrong amounts, the wrong dosage, and they implemented a lot of these things. They looked at everything and said, okay, so what's causing this? Well, one of the things that came up: new hires. They don't know any better. They're new, and so they need to get trained up. Or sloppy handwriting on prescription pads. So what can we do? Well, maybe we should type them, or maybe we should just enforce people to write neater. However it may be, send them, just train them up. Hey, sit down and talk. Hey, look, your patient got a prescription that they shouldn't have, and it's because the doc in the pharmacy couldn't read your handwriting properly and just read what they could and gave it out. Another reaction to that could be, hey, I can't read this doc, and you write me a new one that I can read. So there's a couple different ways that it could have gone, a couple of things that they looked at to see about making those changes. So to wrap it up, those are just a good few of the ways that a company can use control tools to make things happen in an organization. All in the end, it's all for the benefit of the organization. Any one of those, implementing those, at the organizational level, or even at the lowest level, makes it all a little bit better. If you're continuously improving, watching the numbers, making sure you're meeting your marks where you need to, things get better. But it's the conscious effort to improve that is a big thing when it comes to total quality management. When it comes to the budgeting, it's simply looking at the books and going, do we have money for this expense? Yes or no? Can we skimp somewhere else to get this because we really do need this? It's just a lot of weighing your options and taking a look at it. But here's my references for anybody that would like to do a little bit further reading on this. A lot of really good references here. The last three are available online. The top one there is the textbook by Richard L. Daft, Management. Pretty good, pretty enlightening book if you're looking to improve your managerial skills. But you guys all have a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment with any questions you have down below.